Hi guys, make the viral Bottega Veneta bag with me. If you're just joining this channel for the first time, welcome. This is crafted by Menorah. Do like, subscribe and share. So we'll be starting off with our materials for this project. We have our sugar bead size 8 mm. We have our fish line 0.70 mm. And we have our scissors and cutter. So first off, I'm going to start by cutting out my desired length of fish line, whatever is comfortable for you. Then I'm going to be passing 4 beads into my line, and I'll be crossing with the last bead which I added to my line. For this project, I'm going to be using the loop method. Reasons why I use the loop method is because it makes my work firmer, my beads are sturdier, and there's less movement around my work, which enables me to stiffen my rope. So once I'm done with crossing my last bead, I should have my first circles of 4. To make my second circle of 4, I'm going to go in again with 3 beads. First off, I'm going to put 2 beads on one side of my line, create my loop. Then I'm going to add 1 bead to the other side of my line and cross. This should give me my second circle of 4. So for this first row for the viral Bottega Veneta bag, we are going to be making 31 circles of 4. Yes, I said 31 circles of 4. If you want your bag to be lengthier, like you want it to be more, then you can make 33 circles of 4. But for this particular length, I'm going to be making 31 circles of 4. Given that the tutorial I made already on my TikTok video, or my TikTok page rather, is the one with the 31 circles of 4. So I'm making this video as a completion to that photo tutorial on TikTok. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to repeat my previous step again to give me my next circle of 4. That is 3 beads and crossing with the last bead, which I'm doing here. So I'm going to repeat this till I have 31 circles of 4. So at this point now, I have 29 circles of 4. I'm going to create my 30th circle of 4, doing the same thing by putting 2 beads to one side of my line, creating my loop, and adding 1 bead to the other side of my line, and crossing my line to make my 30th circle of 4 on this row. Once I'm done with this, to make the 31st circle of 4, this is where there will be a change in direction of our line. I'm going to be turning my line to the right. So I'm going to put all 3 beads to one side of my line and cross with the last bead, creating a loop with the last bead and pulling at my line. As you can see now, my line is facing sideways. So on this side now, I'm going to be adding 3 beads to the line facing upwards on this right hand side. If you are left-handed, whatever line is facing upwards, you put 3 beads and create your loop and cross. Then you should make your second row with your new circle of 4. So we are going to create this circle of 4 twice on this row. From this row, we are going to start matching the U shape of our bag. So once I create my second circle of 4, as you can see me doing here, the next step is for me to pass my line into the next 2 beads. I'm going to pass the line facing inward into my next 2 beads, not the one facing outward. The one facing inward to the beads, I'm going to pass it into the next 2 beads. Once I've done that, I'm going to be adding 3 beads to the other line facing outwards to create my first circle of 6. So like I said, there will be a change on this row. We are going to be making it so that our matting will start forming a U shape. And to do that, we are going to create this circle of 6. We are going to create it 6 times. So I'm going to continue again by passing my line into 2 beads, then adding 3 beads and creating a loop with the last bead I added on that line, then crossing it. This will form my second circle of 6. I'm going to repeat this process 4 more times till I have 6 circles of 6 on that row. This will help my bag to start forming the U shape which I will need for my Bottega Veneta bag. So I'm going to speed this up from this point. Just ensure that you have the same matting you keep passing into 2 beads and adding 3 beads till you get 6 circles of 6. Okay, now that I have 6 circles of 6, I'm going to go ahead to create my middle part, which is going to have 3 circles of 4. So I'm going to pass my line into just the next 1 bead, not 2 beads again, 1 bead. I'm going to add 2 beads to the other side of my line facing outward and cross. This should give me my first circle of 4 at the middle point of my bag. So this is the middle point of our Bottega Veneta bag. I'm going to create these circles of 4 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into the next 1 bead, adding 2 beads to the other side of my line and crossing it. I'm going to repeat this one more time, which will complete our 3 circles of 4 for this row. Adding 2 beads and crossing my line together, and that is my 3rd circle of 4. So once I've done this, the next step now, after I have my 6 circles of 6 and my 3 circles of 4, is to create another circles of 6 for the other side of my bag. Like I said, this side we just finished now is the middle point of my bag. So I'm going to have the same thing I had on the other side on this other side. I'm going to mirror it. So now I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads, then add 3 beads to the other side of my line facing outwards, create my loop and cross. And now I have my first circle of 6 on the other side. I'm going to repeat this step till I have 6 circles of 6 on this other side by passing into the next 2 bead and crossing with passing into the next 2 bead, putting 3 beads on the other side of my line and crossing it to form my next circle of 6. So now I have 2 circles of 6. So passing my line into the next 2 beads, I'm going to feed my other line facing outward with 3 beads and cross. So I'm going to forward this process till I get to the end. So note that when you get your 6 circles of 6 on this line, you also need to finish up this row with 2 circles of 4, just as we did when we started this row. And this is how our row 2 should look like. 6 circles of 6 on each side, 2 circles of 4 at the top, and 3 circles of 4 at the middle point. So I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into 1 bead, putting 2 beads into the line facing outward and crossing to make my 2 circles of 4 to close up this row. So to turn around, note that you will need to turn inwards just like we did before. I'm going to be putting my next 2 bead, my last 2 bead to close up this row at the line facing outward this time around to turn my line around. So once I do that, my line should be facing inwards. Both lines should be facing inwards now. So to start up my next row, I'm going to feed the line facing upwards with 3 beads. That's the line facing outwards. I'm going to feed it with 3 beads and cross. This should turn my line around to create my new row. So for this row, we are going to be making circles of 5. For the first row, we had circles of 4. The second row, we had circles of 6. Then for this third row, we have circles of 5. But we are going to continue first of all by creating 2 rows of circle of 4 like we did before. That is how we always start each row, by making 2 circles of 4. Once I've done that, I'm going to pass my line now into the next 2 beads to create my first circle of 5. Once I pass my line into my next 2 beads, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 beads to the line facing outwards. The line I did not pass, I'm going to add 2 beads to it, then cross. This should give me my first circle of 5, sorry. As you can see, I have here. So I'm going to continue this process by passing into the next 2 beads, adding 2 beads and crossing. This should give me my second circle of 5. I'm going to repeat this process till I have 6 circles of 5. Just as I had 6 circles of 6 on the second row, for this third row, I'm going to have 6 circles of 5. So I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 bead and add 2 beads to cross to make my new circle of 5. So I'm going to speed up this process till I get to the middle point of my bag. So once we get to the middle point of our bag, please note that for the middle point we are going to keep at it, making 3 circles of 4 for our middle point. 3 circles of 4. So I'm going to pass into the next 1 bead, add 2 beads to my line facing outwards, and cross. That should give me my first circle of 4 on the middle part. I'm going to do this 3 times like I did the other for the second row. So I'm creating my next circle of 4 by passing into the next 1 bead, adding 2 beads and crossing it to create a new circle of 4. As you can see, my U shape is beginning to form because the Vera Bottega Veneta bag has a U shape kind of form, like a semicircle, and that's what we are trying to create with this framework that we are doing now. So once I've created my 3 circles of 4 for the middle part, I'm going to go ahead and mirror what I had on the other side. I'm going to pass my line now into the next 2 beads and add 2 beads to create a new circle of 5. So adding 2 beads and crossing it will give me my first circle of 5 on the second side of my bag. I'm going to repeat the process by passing again into the next 2 beads, adding 2 beads and crossing. I'll do this till I get to the top, to 6 circles of 5 towards the top of my bag to close. Note that, like we did for the first part, we are still going to do 2 circles of 4 at the top to close up for this row. So I'm going to speed this up till we get to the top. So now that we've gotten to this point, I'm going to create my circles of 4 for this new row. So passing into the next 1 bead, adding 2 beads and crossing my loop. For the top, because we are going to be turning our line from this point, I'm going to be passing my line into the next 1 bead and putting my bead on the line which I passed, putting 2 beads on the line which I passed to turn my line facing inwards. Once that is done, you can see for my second row now I have circles of 5, 6 circles of 5, 3 circles of 4, 6 circles of 5 and 2 circles of 4. So for our row 4, we are going to be creating circles of 4. So like I said, for the first row we created circles of 4, the second row circles of 6, the third row circles of 5. For the fourth row we are going to be creating circles of 4 all through. So I'm going to start by adding 3 beads to one side of my line that is facing outwards and creating my loop and crossing it. I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into the next 1 bead, adding 2 beads to the line facing outwards and crossing it to make my second circle of 4. I'm going to repeat this process all through. So to speed it up this process, I'm going to fast forward this process. Just note that we're making circles of 4 all through, so you just need to continue by passing your line into 1 bead and adding 2 beads to cross. So once we get to the top here, I'm going to pass my line into the last one bead on that row. I'm going to put 2 beads to the line which I just passed and cross to close up my row 4. So from after row 4, from row 5, it gets kind of tricky. You need to pay close attention. I'm not going to be speeding up anything on this from this row onwards because I need you to pay close attention. So we're still going to go ahead and create 2 circles of 4, which is always going to be our starting point. So I put in 3 beads and crossing my line to turn my line inwards for my new row. I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into the next one bead, adding 2 beads to the line facing outwards and crossing. Note that you need to pull your rope as firm as possible. So in spite of using the loop method, you need to ensure that you apply tension to your rope so that your matting is firm and it sits. You don't have a wobbly matting. So from this point now, I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads because for this row I'm going to be creating circles of 5, but I'm going to be creating circles of 5 just 3 times, not 6 times as we had before, just 3 times. As you can see, the space at this point is not as wide as before. So I'm going to put 2 beads to my line facing outwards, create my loop and cross, and there I have my first circle of 5. I'm going to go ahead again and pass my line into the next 2 beads, add 2 beads to the line facing outwards and cross to make my second circle of 5. So for our first row we have circles of 4, second row circles of 6, third row circles of 5, fourth row circles of 4. Then for our fifth row we have circles of 5, but these circles of 5 we are doing here is just 3 circles of 5. So I'm creating my third circle of 5 now by passing my line into the next 2 beads, adding 2 beads and crossing it. So now I have 3 circles of 5 for one side. So I'm going to go ahead now and create my middle row, which is 3 circles of 4 like we've been doing. So I'm passing my line into the next one bead. I'm going to add 2 beads and cross, and I should have my first circle of 4 for my middle part on this row. So I'm going to do this 2 more times to complete the circles of 4 for my middle row. Once this is done, I'm going to mirror what I did to the other side to this side, which is creating 3 circles of 5. So I'm creating my last circle of 4 for the middle part, putting 2 beads into my line and crossing. Once this is done, I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads to create my circle of 5. You need to ensure you are counting properly. If this video is too fast for you, you can go ahead and reduce the playback speed. So I'm going to go ahead and make my next circle of 5 by passing into 2 beads, adding 2 beads and creating a loop to make my circle of 5. I'm going to repeat this 2 more times. So once I'm done creating my circles of 5, I'm going to create 2 circles of 4 like we did on the opposite side at the top. So I'm passing into the next one bead. I'm going to add 2 beads to my line facing outwards, create my loop and cross. Then for the top, to finish up this row, I'm going to pass my line into the last one bead on that row, but I'm going to put my 2 beads now on the rope which I passed to turn my line around like we've been doing before. If you're just joining this channel for the first time, please do subscribe to our channel, like and share for more videos. So now we have 5 rows. For our 6th row, we are going to be creating circles of 4 all through, but there's a tricky part on here. So we are going to go ahead and create our first circle of 4 for that row, which is adding 3 beads to the side to our line facing upwards and crossing to turn our line inwards. Then I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into the next one bead. I'm doing a lot of talking in this video because I want you to understand this part very well. It can be a bit tricky. I'm going to do this one more time, passing my line into the next one bead. Then adding 2 beads to cross. So this is the point where it gets tricky. For the next one, I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads, not 1 bead. I'm going to pass it into the next 2 beads. Then I'm going to add 1 bead and cross. You see that I add into the next 2 beads, then I add 1 bead to cross, not 2 beads this time around. Then I'm going to continue by just passing into 1 bead, adding 2 beads to cross. That's for the middle part of our bag. Just like we've been doing before, I'm going to create 3 circles of 4 on that row. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 beads and cross. I'm going to pass into the next 1 bead. I'm going to put 2 beads and cross. So one last time, next 1 bead. Then I'm going to put 2 beads and cross. So for this point now, after we have created 3 circles of 4, I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads. Then I'm going to just take 1 bead and cross, like we did on the other side. Then I can go ahead and finish up by passing into just 1 bead and adding 2 beads to cross. I'm going to continue with this step till I get to the top of my row. So go ahead and pass my line into the next 1 bead, add 2 beads and cross. So once I get to the top, I'm going to pass my line into the next 1 bead. I'm going to put 2 beads to the line I just passed and cross to cover up that row, to finish up that row. So for our next row now, I'm going to add 3 beads to the line facing outwards. I had to change my angle so that you can see better and more clearly. So once I put 3 beads and cross, I've turned my line inwards. I'm going to pass my line into the next one bead and add 2 beads to cross. Once I've created my first 2 circles of 4, from this point now, we are going to do what we did on the other row, the row before this, which at this point we are going to pass our line into the next 2 beads. Into the next 2 beads, 1, 2. Then I'm going to put 1 bead to cross. Then cross, just like that. So I'm going to pass into the next 1 bead. I'm going to put 2 beads now to the other side of my line, create my loop and cross. Once that is done, I'm going to pass my line now into the next 2 beads. From this point, you can see that we are getting to the closing part of this matting. So once I pass into the next 2 bead, I'm going to add 1 bead to my line, the line facing inwards, and cross. That's the line which I didn't pass. Once I've done that, I'm going to pass next into the next 1 bead, add 2 beads. So at this point, when your matting might be coming up, so you have to use your hand to press it down to stabilize that part so that it's not moving around so much. Once I've done that, I'm going to pass my line into the last 1 bead on that row. To close up this row, I'm going to be putting 2 beads on the line which I just passed, like we've been doing before, and cross. Still using the loop method and pull. So at this point now, our bag is almost complete. If you can see, you should be able to tell already that we just need 1 bead, 2 more beads at this point. So I'm going to put 1 bead into my line. Then I'm going to pass it into the next bead on the opposite row, like this. Then I'm going to take 1 bead and create a loop and pass my line facing downwards into it to close up my matting. Can you see that I've closed up my matting? It's complete. But if you check, you will see that the line facing downwards is loose. So I'm going to pass my line into that bead facing downwards. I'm going to pass it into the next bead facing sideways, just to create a circle of 4 there, because there's no line in that row. I'm going to pass my line back into that bead which I just passed now to create my loop, so that I can tighten the other line that is facing outward. Now I'm going to pass that line into the next bead close to it downwards and feed it into my loop, so that I can tighten up that space that is there to make my matting stronger, because there's a space there. You can't leave the space like that. You have to put your lines in to join all the beads there together. So once that is done, you can see how firm my work is now. I've completed the matting for that place. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass my line. I do not like to tie line. If you are one who ties line, at this point you should have, instead of creating a loop, you would have just passed your line and tied at that point. But I don't like to tie. I prefer to pass my line throughout my bead. why I do that is because it makes my work even more sturdy. It gives my bag more structure. So I pass my line continuously. You don't have to pass the whole line if your line is still very long. You can just pass it a few times and cut it out. And that's what I'm going to do here. So when you're passing your line, what you need to know is that you cannot pass into 2 beads at once. You pass into 1 bead and you pass into another bead at in a zigzag pattern, not a straight pattern, so that your lines are not straight. You pass it in a zigzag pattern. Watch, I pass into the next bead on the side like this. Once I've passed it into that bead on the side, I'm going to pass it into the beads opposite it, not the bead next to it. That's the zigzag pattern I'm talking about, as if you are going back on how you made your work. So that's how I pass my line. It gives my bag more structure. Once I'm done passing my line to my desired taste, then I can go ahead and cut my line. And there I have it. So I have one face of my bag ready. I'm going to mat the other face off camera, then we'll come back to join. But before then, like I said before, I made this line 31 because of the tutorial I have on TikTok, but I want this particular bag to have the 33 length. So in case you already made your matting with the 31 length that was on TikTok, you can just go ahead and add to the top a row of circles of 4. So like I just did now, I put my line into the first bead, add 3 beads and cross. Then I'll just go ahead and pass into the next 1 bead, add 2 beads and cross. So I'm going to repeat this till I get to the end of my bag from one side to the other. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. Just passing into the next 1 bead, then adding 2 beads to cross. So if you were using the matting, like making your matting 33, so you will know that instead of 2 circles of 4 that we were matting at the top, it's going to be 3 circles of 4 for you that you are going to be matting at the top. I hope that you understand. So I'm done with this matting because I wanted to add just 1 line of color to this bag. That is why I am just doing my matting now. So now I have my 2 faces ready. Next step is to create my the side of my bag. So I'm just going to go ahead now and put my new line into the first bead on the side, on either side of my matting face. So you can either decide to mat the side on both faces, or you can just mat the side on one face and attach the other face. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to start off by putting 3 beads into one side of my line, the lines facing outwards. I put 3 beads, 1, 2, 3. Then I create my loop and cross. Once I've done this, the next step is just to pass my line into the next 1 bead on the side. So all throughout, to create our sides, we are just going to be creating circles of 4. So it's just for you to pass into the next 1 bead and add 2 beads to cross. And this matting for my side, I'm going to do it 4 times because I want my sides to be a total row of 5. I'm going to do 4 sides on this face. Then for the 5th one, I'm going to use it to join both faces together. I hope you understand. So I'm going to go ahead again and pass my line into the next 1 bead. I'm building my side, so you can see that my bead on this side is facing upward. So when you make your matting the first time, it might be lying down. You would have to fold it upwards because you are trying to build your side. So I'm going to go ahead and pull. You can see me creating my sides. So I'm just going to forward this to me making 4 rows of this circle of 4 round my bag, so that we do not waste too much time on the video. I don't want this video to be too long but I want you to understand each step correctly. So I'm just going to build round this bag. I'm going to continue by passing into the next one bead until I get to the end of the bag and putting 2 beads. That's all you need to do at this point. Just feed your line into the next one bead. For the other line which you do not feed, you put 2 beads, create your loop and cross, which I'm doing here. So I've completed my 4 rows for my side. So I'm just going to turn my line around to face sideways, adding 2 beads to complete this 4th row for my sides. And like I said before, for my 5th row, I'm going to be using it to join the other face of my bag. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 bead. I'm going to add 1 bead to the line facing upwards. Once I've done that, I'm going to pass my line into the other side of my face, into the next 1 bead on the other face of my bag. Then I'm going to add 1 bead to either side of my line. At this point, because I'm joining, it doesn't matter what side of line. I'm going to add 1 bead, create my loop and cross. So you add 1 bead, feed your line into the other side of your face, then you add another 1 bead to cross. Can you see that? So I've created my first circle of 4 for my 5th row, which I'm going to use to join the side. So I'm just going to continue by passing my line into the next 1 bead on each side of my faces, like each side of the bag faces. I'm going to pass the line to the other side too, the other line to the other side, like this. Then I'm going to put 1 bead and cross. So I'm going to repeat this process all throughout the bag, passing the line into the 2 sides, into each side. You can see it's closing firmly. You need to hold on to it during this process because it's not yet sturdy. But as you get towards the middle part, you can place your bag upside down and continue your matting. It will be more convenient there. So I've passed into the other side. I'm going to pass the other line to the other side of the bead, to the next 1 bead. Then I'm going to use 1 bead to cross. So it's just 1 bead to cross that we're going to be doing from this point onwards. 1 bead to cross till we get to the other side of the bag. Because I don't want this video to be lengthy, I'm going to still forward this process. So you just know to pass your line into the next 1 bead, like you see me doing here, on each side of your bag, to the next 1 bead, then 1 bead to cross, just like that. So from this point, we have gotten to the other side of the bag. So I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads like I'm supposed to. But I'm going to do something here, so I need you to pay close attention. So I'm going to pass the second line inside, the other line inside. I'm going to pass it back towards that bead. I'm going to add 1 bead to the other line on the other side, then cross. I created a loop with the other line on the other side because I want to turn my line inwards to the second row, So from that point, now I'm going to add 1 bead, then I'm going to pass my line into the next bead on the other side. So what we are trying to do now is to fold the edge of this bag for our handle. So you are going to count 1, 2 bead on each side and pass your line into that side. We are trying to fold that part for the handle, as you can see. Then now I'm going to take 1 bead and cross. This part you will need to pull very well because you are trying to fold the bag. You even need to press the bag so that that place will fold to give you a circle of 4 on that edge. But you need to make sure that you are using the 2 even lines on the inside for this folding. Can you see that? I've created a circle of 4 at that top. That's the reason why we created 5 matting rows for our side. If you want your bag to be wider, then that means you are going to create 7 matting rows on the side so that you can get that 4 for your handle. Then I'm going to pass my line into the next 2 beads like I was doing before and add 1 more bead to cross because I want to fold that place twice just to give it more stability. Can you see that? Like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and pass my line all through just for security so that it doesn't lose. And you know, I don't like tying, like I said before. I rather pass my bead round my bag. So I'm just going to pass the rope round my bag and cut it out till I'll pass till I'm sure that that tightening I did now, that folding I did now is strong. Then I'll cut off my line on each side. Once I'm done with that side, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now watch closely in case you were not able to figure out what I did on the other side. So I'm passing into the next 1 bead. You can see I did not pass to the bead at the edge. I pass into the next 1 bead. Then I'm going to feed in 1 bead. Then I'm going to pass into the next bead, not the bead at the edge, the next 1 bead after the edge. That's what I did to the other side. You can decide to just use a new line, but I didn't want to use a new line for the other side. So then I'm going to put 1 bead and cross, creating a loop and cross. You can see I folded this other part of my bead work. So the second folding will be quite easier because you have already folded the first one. Then you can see me passing into the next bead under it. Yes, the next one bead under it. I'm going to do that for both sides. The next one bead under it. I'm using my cutter to pick out my line because most times the line would not come out on its own. Then I'm going to use one bead to cross, and I folded the second part for my handle. Yes, so in this video I'm teaching you how to make your handle for any bag you want to make. If it's the love shape bag, this is the same way you are going to fold the sides for the handle. If you don't want to fold the sides, you can mat your handle separately and attach with a loop, a jump ring, a big jump ring, like a bag loop, either an adjustable one or a non-adjustable one. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass my line like I did on the other side till it's firm around my bag, so that I'm sure that my closing will not open up. Good, so I'm done with both sides. Can you see? So I'm ready now to create my handle. So pay close attention. Taking a new line, I'm going to feed my line into the first bead on that circle of 4 which I created after my closing. You can see it. Then I'm going to put 3 beads to one side of my line. 3 beads to one side of my line. I'm going to pick any side of your choice, whichever side, if you want to work from the left or the right. Then I'm going to feed 3 beads into that side which I chose. I'm just adding more beads. Put 3 beads into that line. Create a loop. Then feed my other line into that loop and pull firmly. Once I've done that, the next step is to pass my line into this next bead on the side. We are working around that circle of 4. Once I've done that, I'm going to take 2 beads now and feed into the line which I do not pass. I'm going to create a loop. Yes, and pull. Then I'm going to feed into the next one bead on the side. Because this is the part where I tightened, I'm going to need my cutter to help me pull out my rope. Then I'm going to feed 2 beads into that line that I did not pass. Create my loop and pull. So you can see we are building round that circle of 4. So this last step now, I'm going to pass into 2 beads. I'm going to pass into the next bead on the side. Then I'm going to pass my line into the next bead that is facing upwards from the first beads, the first 3 beads I added. So I'm going to pass my line into that bead so that my line will face up. My line will come up now. Can you see? Like this, my line is coming up. So my 2 lines are facing upwards now. Then I'm going to take just 1 bead at this point and cross. I'm going to use that 1 bead to create a loop and cross. So it's almost as if we are trying to build a staircase. Now I'm at the top of that new matting which I created. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the same step again. I'm going to put 3 beads into any side of my line. I'm going to pull. I'm going to pass that line that is facing downwards. It's the line facing downwards that you are going to be passing into the next bead on the side. Then I'm going to put 2 beads on the line which is facing upwards, which I did not pass. Create my loop. Pass my other line into the loop and pull. You can see we are building upwards. So the line that is still facing downwards again, I'm going to pass it into the next bead on the side. I'm going to add 2 beads. Create my loop. And feed my other line into that loop and pull. This place can be a bit tricky for first time beginners, so you just need to pay close attention. I would suggest you you reduce the playback speed of this video to maybe 0.5, just so that you can see it better. Then for the closing part, I'm going to pass into the next bead on the side, then the next bead facing upwards from that new row I just created, so that my 2 lines are facing up. Then I'm going to use 1 bead to cross. Can you see that I've started building upwards? So I'm going to continue this. For my handle is going to be 20, so I'm going to keep at this till I get to the 19th part of my handle. So starting with 3 beads, just need to note the counting. For your first line is 3 beads, your second passing is 2 beads, third passing 2 beads, then your last passing you need just 1 bead. So you need to pay close attention so that you don't go and put 2 beads where you need just 1 bead and put 3 beads where you need just 2 beads. So at this point I'm putting just 2 beads, creating my loop and pulling firmly. And that is me building my 3rd row for my bag handle. I'm passing into the next 1 bead on the side. I'm going to add 2 beads now. Create my loop and cross. To close up that row now, I'm going to pass into the next 1 bead. Then I'm going to feed my line into the beads facing upwards from the first marking I did. Take your time. Once my 2 lines are facing upwards, opposite each other, I'm going to add just 1 bead and cross. So I've gotten to the 19th part of my handle. Like I said, our total handle plus the joining is 20. So this is the 19th one I'm doing. I'm going to pass into the next 1 bead, feed my 2 beads into my other line, then cross, pass into the next 1 bead, feed my bead with that I did not pass with 2 beads, the line I did not pass with 2 beads, then cross. Then the last 1 bead, you can see me passing into the next bead, then the bead facing upwards. Then I'm going to use 1 bead to cross. You can see my 2 lines are facing upwards. So the closing part is tricky also. I need you to pay close attention. It's just almost like what we have been doing since, but in this case, because we have the other side on our bag, we are going to just be creating adding 1 bead all through. So I'm adding 1 bead to any side of my line. I'm going to pass into the next bead facing it. Then I'm going to use 1 bead to cross the both sides of my line. You can see. Then I'll pull firmly. You might not be able to pull as much, but just note that when you pass your line into the next bead, then you can pull it firmly. You can decide not to use the loop method at this point so that you can pull firmly, but I still went ahead to use the loop method. So I'm passing both lines. I pass the one facing down, pass the one facing up, then I'll just add 1 bead and cross, just like what we did when we were doing the sides of our bag, when we're joining the 2 faces together. So I'm going to go ahead and pass my line into the next 2 beads, the line facing upwards, I pass it into the next bead upwards. The one facing downwards, I pass it into the next bead downwards. Then I'm going to add one bead and create my loop and pull. You can see that. So at this point, I'm going to pass into the next bead facing downwards. I need my cutter to pull my line out. Then I'm going to pass it upwards because I'm closing the part for that bag, and I pull. So I've joined my handle. So whatever is left now of my line, I'm going to just pass it around my bag till it's firm. Like I said, I do not tie. I'm going to pass round and cut, which is what I just did here. So it's just 4 circles of 4 you are doing at the bottom part. So you just need to pass till you've closed every part of that bag handle, and my handle is ready. As you can see me here, I'm just passing my lines. Once I'm done passing, then I cut. I encourage that you play that part on 0.5 playback speed, just so that you can understand what I did there, cutting out my line. So my bag handle is ready, and there we have the Bottega Veneta bag, the viral bag. I hope this tutorial was easy for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.